Oh, do not attempt to adjust your dial. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. It's your boy Big Vern. This is App Stupid, the fastest growing sports and entertainment show on these YouTube streets. You're welcome. Holla at us on our college football Saturdays. We had a recap going on. If you are just joining us, go ahead and check us out. I was not impressed with Georgia's offense, but I was more so disappointed in Clemson as a team. I was just blown away. 4 quarters, all of this hype, Dabo talking about before the game. If Clemson was a stock, we just lost everybody's money. So that rank that high, I'm not going to hold you. Then we talked some Golden Dome of football, as I was the only person telling you that Notre Dame is better than Texas A&M, and they can beat Texas A&M. And guess what? They did. Texas A&M got punked at Texas. Wow. So do what you will with that. Gonna roll on and talk some more ACC football. Louisville, L1C4 for life. Shout out to, rest in peace, Big John Richardson. It's my homie. Avid Louisville fan. Louisville, 62-0 versus Austin Peay. Now, here's where I will say this game got out of hand early. And if you're with the faithful and you're a Cardinal fan, God bless you, because you survived the Satterfield years. Satterfield was just awful. But Louisville right now under Jeff Brom, getting guys to fit in his system and also finding that quarterback where he can give the young kids coming in a little out of the portal. And I'm just going to say this guy has to be mentioned in the national spotlight for Coach of the Year, because all the time, this is all you keep hearing. Oh, they got this 5-star guy. And this is for the basketball factories. And yeah, it's going to pan out. Some of these guys are going to go on to the NFL and have great careers. Nobody is discounting any of that under any stretch of the imagination. But what I'm saying, if you're in a Power 5 conference like the ACC, Louisville has to be one of the power players. Because 4 months ago, they were telling you Florida State was going to repeat as champions. They were going to do all of these miraculous things. How is that going to happen? How? They had 10 people coming back. 4 on offense, 4 on defense, 2 more on special teams. The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Georgia Tech did whatever they wanted to them, whenever they wanted, and they just kept it going. And they had them picked to be number 1 and just killing it. Then it was NC State. It was everybody but Louisville. South Charleston, that game was in the margin of error. Because everybody was saying, oh, well, North Carolina State likes to play conservative, their first game of the season, so this could come down to being a field goal. And it was really on an upset alert. Then Miami, then Clemson. Louisville picked 5th in the conference. But out of all the teams that played in the ACC outside of Miami, Louisville had a dominant performance. Now, I know people will say, hey, look, Austin Peay, they're no ranked team. They don't play in a Power 5. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the command of the offense. I'm looking at guys reading the windows right. I'm looking at the way the blocks are going. The tackles are actually committing to it properly, not just shoulder charging people. Louisville is a very well-coached team. 62-0 They handled business. Now, you can't sit here and demonize one and then uplift another, because if Alabama got off the hook playing Western Kentucky, and then everybody's, oh, Alabama hasn't missed a step. Well, they played Western Kentucky. But that never works in the case of Louisville, because Louisville, they look like they never missed a step. And it really looks like Plummer, who was Jeff Brom's quarterback last year, it looks like he was holding them back. They scored any way you wanted to. They scored on defense. They scored on offense. They ran the ball really well. They threw the ball extremely well. And I'm sitting here saying, if not them, then who? And just like in that last segment, they play Jackson State. That's a home game. Then Georgia Tech comes to Louisville, because remember, they beat Georgia Tech in Georgia Tech last year in a very entertaining game. And that game's going to be blockbuster and barn burner. They don't go on the road until September the 28th to play Notre Dame. And I suspect when Notre Dame beat Texas A&M, Texas A&M is going to fall out of the top 24. Louisville is going to fall. It's going to go up into the top 25. Especially with Clemson losing. Clemson doesn't deserve to be there. Now they will say, oh yeah, they just had a bad game. They had a run of the luck. They played them. But Louisville, they play Virginia on the road. Again, Notre Dame is a road game. Boston College is a road game. I have no faith in Bill O'Brien and the Patriots scam and the Nick Saban scam that's been going, because he's no good at coaching anyway whatsoever. Clemson, they play Clemson at Clemson. Then Stanford, that's a trip to the West Coast. Pittsburgh, and then they wrap up the season against UK, an in-state rival. So, Stanford, I don't know what to make of it. I don't, honestly. Pittsburgh, they got to get some get back. Pittsburgh looks beatable, and Pittsburgh caught Louisville coming off a huge win last year. So I know the Cardinals, they want their lick back in that one. Also, I think that the Louisville Kentucky game is going to have more meaning, and that game is going to be heavily weighted because Stoops needs that game. You do recall he had to vacate 10 wins. So he needs that game to actually get him back on course and back on track. I can look at this schedule and tell you Louisville is a 10-2 team or 11-1. They are a lock for the college playoff. They're the most dangerous team nobody's talking about. They're the most dangerous team nobody's talking about. And then people will let it fly under the radar. They're going to win next week. Not going to say anything. They're going to let that go. People are going to let that fly under the radar. Louisville's going to keep going. And then Georgia Tech's going to come to town. Georgia Tech's already riding high. They beat Florida State. If they beat Georgia Tech, now you have two undefeated teams in Notre Dame and Louisville meeting in South Bend. That has college playoff implications. That is that game of the day. Both of these teams undefeated going into that game. Marcus Freeman wants his lick back. Jeff Brom wants to go upside his head. That is worth the price of admission, is all I'm saying. But I could have it wrong. Louisville could lose that game. Louisville could lose the ACC and not make it to the playoff entirely. However, I don't think that's true. L1C4, Bird Gang Faithful, let me know. Is Louisville that dangerous, or is this thing all over with? This is Big Burn.